Arsenal Football Club are genuinely one of the most confusing football institutions on the face of the planet. And I'm starting to reach a point where I feel like this football club is allergic to doing what's required in order to win major trophies, that being the Premier League and the Champions League. Because there was a period of 18 months between Arsenal finishing second the third time and Arsenal finishing second the first time, where I genuinely thought they would do what's required to get over the line. The signing of Zubimendi was one of those moments. The signing of Declan Rice was another one of those moments. Beating Real Madrid convincingly home and away was another one of those moments. Finishing above Manchester City and actually beating them head-to-head in the league, that was a big one, despite them not winning the league. And there's so many other positive moments that Arsenal have had where I've thought they look like a serious football club. But all of that has completely dwindled into the dark abyss because Noni Madueke is an unfathomably bad signing. On top of Kepa, on top of Norgard, on top of all the other ex-Chelsea rejects that Arsenal have signed, this one takes the trophy. This one absolutely takes the trophy. Because I don't think you can justify spending 50 million on Noni Madueke as a team that's trying to win a Premier League title. If you were chasing top four, if you were just trying to get a European place, maybe that makes sense to sign Noni Madueke. But a team that is supposed to be winning a Premier League and challenging for a Champions League title, this signing does not make any sense. And it feels like the Kai Havertz signing, but almost worse, in the sense that we expected Kai Havertz to be this bad, but he was actually like more here. But what Arsenal needed was up here. So even though Kai Havertz exceeded expectations, he still wasn't a good signing if we're talking about Arsenal winning trophies. And as if that wasn't bad enough, they also signed Mikel Moreno, they also signed Willian, they also signed a number of players who just haven't been good enough over the last several years under Mikel Arteta. And Noni Madueke is another addition to that long list of players who I don't think is good enough to get Arsenal over the line. I am genuinely perplexed as a rival fan. This is not banter. This is not me trying to be funny. This is me genuinely just being a football fan and looking at Arsenal and saying to myself, how on earth has Berta and everyone else involved in the recruitment, as well as Mikel Arteta, okayed this signing? It just doesn't make any sense. I think that Arsenal need to be investigated for money laundering because there is no ways. There is just no ways. I thought Willian was the last straw. I thought Willian was the last Chelsea reject that these guys were going to sign. But no, I was wrong. They then signed Jorginho, they signed Kepa, and now they've signed Madueke. When will it end, Robbie? When will it end? But apart from that, I don't really have too much that's constructive to say about this that hasn't already been said online. Again, it is objectively a bad piece of business for Arsenal. And the question I really have to anyone who's watching this video is, where do Arsenal go from here? If you are an Arsenal fan, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, because I just don't see a world in which Arsenal win the Premier League with Madueke starting games week in, week out. And again, people will say, well, maybe he's coming in as a bench option. That's almost even worse. That's almost even worse because, one, you haven't solved the Martinelli problem, and two, you've signed a player who's not good enough for Chelsea to come sit on your bench and potentially come in to help the team get over the line when we've already established he was not good enough for Chelsea. That, spending 50 million on a squad player is crazy work, when you don't have a starting left winger that you can trust the same way you guys trust Saka. And you still don't have a number 9, by the way. It would be remiss of me to not mention the fact that Gyökeres is not done yet. It looks very likely that Gyökeres will be an Arsenal player, but as of me recording this video, it's not done yet. So we don't know what's going to happen with the Gyökeres deal. I don't know, man. Arsenal Football Club, they are seeming less and less threatening by the day, in my opinion. I look at Manchester City and who they've signed. Reinders and Cherki are sensational signings. Ignori as well. I look at Manchester City's signings. Yes, they didn't do well in the Club World Cup, but there's logic behind their signings. There's tangible things that they bring to the team that Manchester City didn't have in abundance last season. There's an immediate improvement in their first team, despite them losing Kevin De Bruyne and despite their team not looking the same, even with the return of Rodri. There is tangible reasons why those signings are good. Liverpool, I don't need to say anything about Florian Wirtz. That hasn't already been said. Liverpool look terrifying. They look genuinely terrifying. And it's unfortunate what's happened with Diego Jota because he's another hole that Liverpool now need to fill. But even then, Liverpool look so scary. I can't say the same about Arsenal. I can't lie. And yes, I'm a United fan. We're in 15th, so who am I to talk? But at the end of the day, it doesn't change what I'm saying being true. You know, it doesn't change the fact that what I'm saying is true, rather, is the correct way to phrase that. So, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Nani Madueke to Arsenal, you know. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Otherwise, it's been your boy Triple M. Peace!